It's time to find out what's brewing in the boroughs. Today we're in Brooklyn, where volunteers are getting ready for a packing party. Their mission? Fill new backpacks with pajamas, blanket socks, and more for New York City youth in foster care. You'll understand why this is a big deal in just a minute.
Yeah, Rob Scheer is the founder of Comfort Cases, a nonprofit helping foster families transport their belongings. He is a former foster child and the author of A Forever Family, fostering change one child at a time. So please welcome the man on a mission, Rob Scheer. Great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is a real treat. We have a lot to get to, but I first wanted to get through some numbers because they are pretty staggering. 430,000 youth in foster care in the U.S., nearly 15,000 undocumented in New York State, 7,000 undocumented in New York City. You say the foster care system is broken.
No.
With stats like that, why?
I will have to tell you it's not broken. It's shattered. Okay?
Shattered.
Broken things, you take glue and you put them back together. When something is shattered, it has to be rebuilt. And we have to rebuild our foster care system. I know that firsthand. Yeah. I lived it. I was in it, and I was one of the 22,000 kids who aged out, and 70% became homeless, like I did as a senior in high school.
Wow, what was it like then, being in the foster care system?
You know, for me, I thought it was supposed to be my glory. I came from very abusive parents. I thought that this was a home that I was gonna be at for the rest of my life. Little did I know, in the fall of 1984, I literally walked in the front door of my senior year of high school. I just turned 18 that day, and I was handed this, a trash bag. And I was told that I could no longer live there because the check wasn't coming from the state. That happens every single day to kids in foster care. The numbers that you talk about, you have to realize that 700 kids a day in the United States enter the system. That's one child every 2 minutes. And they enter the system because of a choice that someone else made. And instead, what choice we do is we hand them a trash bag.
And the trash bag is presumably pack your things and
pack your things. You have 20 minutes to gather as much as you can because you are now leaving. And it doesn't matter where you're living, that is your family, that is your home. And so what we say to our kids in foster care is that you're no more than garbage. This was invented to put trash in, not children's clothing. So 13 years ago, we decided to make a difference.
Love that.
And enter this.
Enter this, yes. So my husband and I actually have adopted 5 kids out of foster care.
Well, bravo to you.
Thank you. 15 years ago, our first 4 children arrived. All 4 of them carried a trash bag. And I remember looking at my husband saying, how can this be? How could this be after all of the years that I had been in the system, that trash bags were still being used? And so 13 years ago, as I was sitting in my office, my kids were growing and they were, vibrant. And I said, you know what, we're gonna do something different. And they said, this year, instead of getting toys for the kids in the foster care system, we're gonna pack a backpack. We're gonna give them a brand new pair of pajamas, toiletries, a toothbrush. Do you realize that kids in foster care are not even given a toothbrush?
They're still being given trash bags.
It's still being given trash bags. Right now, I've been able to, with the help of so many amazing people, have 3 states where we passed a bill that this is illegal.
Wow.
This is literally illegal. And so we are not stopping until all 50 states realize that kids in foster care deserve to have better.
Wow. And so this company, this nonprofit organization is called Comfort Cases. In addition to all the backpacks and all the other, I'm not even going to say they're necessity. Like, you just need these. I'm not even going to say you're entitled to them. You should have a vessel upon which to take something from point A to point B.
Better believe it.
With some dignity. Tell us about the other good work that you're doing, because folks are busy
packing
these
we are,
things.
like today, we're actually gonna pack 500 cases that will stay right here. We've actually packed and delivered over 250,000 cases. We have delivered them to all 50 states, DC and Puerto Rico. And in 2021, when none of us knew what we were doing because of the pandemic, my family was in the UK opening up a center there where we now serve 84,000 children in the United Kingdom. And just to let you know, we're 96% volunteer ran.
Wow, well, you are my hero. You are doing the work, my friend. But Simone Biles, obviously in the spotlight right now, right after the Olympics, she lived in foster care. How important do you feel like it is to have people that are in the spotlight, that have been through this experience, speak out about some of the injustices that these young folks are going through?
You know, I have to tell you, it's people like Simone Biles, it's my friend Tiffany Haddish. You know, I was just texting with her because we know how important it is to tell our story. For so many years, we were embarrassed for people to know that you all put the F word in front of us. And what we have to understand is these are not foster kids. These are kids who are experiencing foster care. They're
Yes.
kids. And when you look at the statistics where 80% of our death row inmates were in foster care. Wow. Think about that. 80%. Sure. We know that 79% of all children who are human trafficked in the United States are from foster care. Our system's shattered, my friends.
And you're helping build a new one. And for that, we thank you, Rob Scheer.